whether you are in an interview, they will ask you a question on, tell me about a challenge, right? Tell me about one of the challenges that you faced. Or generally, when you're working as a business analyst, you would be presented with numerous challenges. One of the challenges would revolve around requirements, right? So you know, when we work on project, multiple stakeholders or numerous stakeholders will give numerous requirements. You'll work with numerous stakeholders and they will give you numerous requirements. Within the constraints of the project, for example, only certain scope can be delivered, we only have certain amount of time because project is a temporary endeavor, and we only have certain amount of cost or dollar, right? We cannot deliver all the requirements. So because we cannot deliver all the requirements, so what do we do? How do we deliver this bad news to the stakeholders about, you know, certain requirements cannot be delivered and certain requirements will be delivered? So a good business analyst during this time, what they would do is, or what we usually do is, we'll conduct a workshop. We'll conduct a prioritization workshop. We'll conduct a prioritization workshop. We'll send out an email to stakeholders, clearly stating to them the criteria that will be used for for prioritization, right? So on the day of the meeting, now when stakeholders come, each and every requirement will be passed through this criteria of what benefit will each requirement that stakeholders provided deliver, what will be the cost of that requirement, what level of stakeholder agreement do we have on these requirements, what is the stability of the requirement, number 4. Number 5, what level of implementation difficulty and risk does the requirement present, and finally, if it is a regulatory requirement. If a requirement checks most of these aspects, it automatically becomes a high priority requirement. But if requirements do not check most of these aspects and they only check 1 or 2, they remain medium to low priority, right? So to overcome a challenge using a simple business analysis technique or basis of prioritization has immensely helped me, right? So when you're speaking the same thing in an interview, be like, if someone says, tell me about a challenge. One of the challenges that I've faced on most of the projects that I've worked on, for example, working at whatever bank you've been working on, has been around prioritization of requirement. Working on a certain project, numerous stakeholders provided numerous requirements, but within the constraints of projects, it is not possible to deliver all the requirements. During this time, I suggested to my reporting manager that we should have some kind of a prioritization workshop. We established a criteria for prioritization, such as prioritization based on benefits, prioritization based on cost, stakeholder agreement, stability, implementation difficulty, risk, and regulatory nature of the requirements. We were not able to prioritize all the requirements during the first workshop itself. We needed additional 2 more requirement workshops to do so. However, in the end, we were able to form the right kind of consensus with our stakeholders by using a simple, basic prioritization technique. I was able to prioritize the requirements and overcome the challenge, right? Very simple. So it is very, very important to maintain simplicity in the answers. Very important. If we will not maintain simplicity, we will just try to add too much, and grammar is the greatest sin. A good business analyst does not commit those kind of errors, right? So preparing for the role of business analyst requires you to showcase the best communication skills, the best usage of vocabulary, simplistic, but it should be presented in a manner that it has not been heard before, right? Rely on this.